right, this is June 9th. This part 2.
Oh yeah, same day.
Same day. So after the forts, after whatever that fort was, I can't remember what it's called. But we moved on to the Kastelholm Castle.
Kastelholm Castle.
Castle, yeah. Kastelholm. Yep.
And this one I really liked because this one was one of the super old ones. This one,
yeah, it was built in the 14th century.
Yeah.
And it definitely looked bigger in person than what you see in pictures and stuff. Yeah, because I did look up some of the stuff before we went. Like, I want to see what we're.
I didn't.
I'm a nerd, but a lot because that big giant wall, the first thing that you see when you come in.
And it actually felt like an old castle. Like some of the castles in Sweden there kind of felt like manors or like mansions.
Mm-hmm.
But this felt like an old castle. And you could go underneath it. They had a little tour that went underneath it where you could see the remains of the original, 1300 whatever, walls.
Yeah, because you never think that like castles weren't just these big forts right away. Like they were smaller, and it's just every
100 years.
Every 100 years, or a new king or new lord is over it, and they add to it, and they add to it, and they add to it. And so then and the towers, the reason they build them up is so they can actually view and survey the land and see enemies coming. But yeah, you're thinking 13th century, they were actually shallow.
Yeah. The 13th century version of this castle was, a raised ranch.
Yeah.
Of a castle.
Yeah. Well, and then there was one part where it was just a giant rock, and they had used the rock as part of the wall. So then they just built the stones around it.
Yeah.
And then that's why they could figure out what layers were from what century. You could actually see oh, that was the next level.
Yeah.
Because the rocks were different.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes construction would just take a while, so it just.
Well, and when we were down there too, I liked the waterways, the drainage.
Yeah.
The old drainage they were still using.
Yeah, which was really cool to see. It's kind of fun when something's, 500 years old or whatever, and still being used.
Mm-hmm.
It's.
Yeah.
And, underneath was a whole sewer system of. It was all open, but just kind of flowed out, and the rain still to this day runs right down those things.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, and then it was damaged during the 1599 Civil War, and then later gutted in 1745, and then they restored it in the 20th century, and it's been a museum since the 90s.
Yeah.
Now, but what I thought was fascinating too is there was something in there stating that before obviously it was a museum, and you don't think about this either, is that some of the bricks were removed from it and found in different parts of the island that, you think about it, you're like,
well, if no one's
no one's living there and I need to build a house. Hell yeah, I'm going to confiscate these bricks and these rocks that are already used. So I thought that was cool. I was like, yeah, I never even thought about that. Yeah, we would scavenge off of it.
Over the hundreds of years.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Why would I go out and
and it's just funny to think something that we hold man, this is really cool and old and valuable. Even at 100 years, somebody was like, that old piece of shit. Who gives a crap? Nobody's lived into it for 100 years.
I need a house to live in. So
yeah, get out of here.
Some of this.
And kind of like how we treat 80s cars.
Yeah.
You're kind of piece of shit, but 100 years from now, people are going to be like, look at this fucking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was cool though.
Yeah.
And then it did have on one side of it there was a lake, but at one point it actually had an entire moat around it because again, Sweden and the Åland Islands had more water surrounding them.
Yeah.
So it at one time had a moat, but now it was just off to the side.
It was kind of just a little island that they built it on.
Mm-hmm.
Alltså ni är välkomna in bara. Jag skulle vilja, är ni 4?
Nej, vi är...
Okej, då slänger jag in er alla.
I like that tree that was out there. Not that one, it's the one further back. It's kind of neat. I had to get a picture of it.
Yeah.
Airports? Yeah. Reminds me of the scene from The Holy Grail. Yeah. We were in then they'd have like, you know, on the doorway they'd have like a hole they dump hot oil down. I fart in your general direction.
Yeah.
I fart in your general direction. Yes, sir.
Really high up there.
Yeah, it is. We'll just make it 4 up here.
Okay. So hurry is what you're saying.
Yes. Look at how many people walked up and down these steps.
I don't know.
So cool.
All I can ever think about is how bad it must have smelled.
Yeah. You're right. You got it. Yeah.
I saw him coming and I started running.
Oldest archaeological traces encountered the site and to show the original sloping topography of Big Courtyard and the level of the castle yard during the 17th century. Originally almost 900 meters squared. Courtyard was considerably diminished at the end of the 15th century when 2 buildings were erected.
When was this built?
Yeah, it says the earliest traces of human activity encountered during archaeological investigation of the site consist of a layer of bark or wood chips dated to the beginning of the 14th century. 2 small, simple one-story structures on the north and south sides of the courtyard were built to fit in with the rock configuration. In the north wall of the southern building, an entrance has been found indicating the level of use in the site at that period. I did like when we got to go up in the tower and then to walk along the very top and look down at the ground level. I don't know.
Yeah.
It made me feel like I was in The Witcher.
One of my favorite things to do in these kind of museums is if it's a doorknob, I'm turning it.
Mm-hmm.
And if something hasn't physically stopped me from going somewhere, I'm going there. It doesn't matter. I don't care if I have to scoot a sign out of the way a little bit to get in there. And so we were climbing up these ladders, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And we got into that weird upper room that was just kind of like...
Yeah, I can't remember. Didn't they say they used that as a dungeon for one of the nobles?
Yeah.
At one point, they locked him in there.
Yeah.
But then, like, the rest of the group was following this tour guide that was dressed like a peasant, and we ran into him. We were like, nope, we ain't doing that. We don't do that. But then, like, we were up in that attic space, and they were, like, blocking the...
And the tour came through.
Because the tour came through, so we had to sit up there and wait.
Such is the life of a criminal.
Yep.
Yeah.
What it is.
Yeah. And the... I guess it would be the what is it, the prison?
Yeah, so like down from the museum was kind of like would have been I guess.
No, in the castle.
Oh.
There was like the what do you call it? Not a prison. The dungeon, because the dungeon was like way up top though. It wasn't like you always see in the movies where it's like.
Oh, down in the basement or something?
You're
well, because
like,
I remember that room that we climbed into, they had stated like one of the nobles that like got prosecuted or found to be in the wrong, they like locked his ass in there.
Yeah.
Which is why it had like one little window,
Yeah.
one little peephole. Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't remember I might be making shit up.
Well, there's something. Well, and then there was like the like base floor that had the well in it. And if you look at the pictures of it, there's this big, tower, but the rooms have collapsed, and all the middle is basically gutted, during the damage of Civil War or whatever. But at the bottom they still had like the well, and where everybody would like eat.
Oh, yeah.
And I also really like that too, because like the room where everybody ate just didn't have any windows. It's just like this dark, like
that's
dank,
right. Yeah, because
everybody
ate at the ground level where the garden and
then
stuff
they would
was.
like sleep. Like the normal people that lived in there would kind of like cuddle around the well and shit.
Yeah.
I
forgot about that.
Yeah, thank God we live in this time.
No, when everybody's like,
God.
Let's go back to the good old days. For what?
I think the good old days is that like is not too far back.
No, I know.
Nobody thinks that's the good old days.
No, I know.
Even back then, they were like, "Can't wait to be the future."
I know.
Fuck everything right now, and for the next 400 years.
Oh, seriously.
Yeah, what a nightmare. That's the breakfast hole.
But yeah, and then like down the hill from the castle was like kind of like the village, kind of like what was expected, but I think it was more of like 19th century life. So there were some old houses, like schoolhouses, and what would have been life on the island. And then there was also, I remember there was the windmill, and we looked at that one. I think that was a lathe, right?
No, that one was. What the heck was that one?
I can't. Now. I know we.
No, but it did something. And
it rotated something, and I can't remember, but it was something that rotated sideways.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was dark, but yeah, there was that, and then there's also like a prison from 1784 in that area, and then there was the Åland distillery.
Yeah.
I know some of the folks stopped there as well. Yeah, so I mean, we just peek through some of the houses and
Had a little gift shop and stuff. And,
yeah, we went through the little gift shop as well.
and I got a recipe on a postcard. A recipe for like the bread they would have eaten back then. But it's to make enough bread to feed the fucking castle. So I've got to figure out how to like.
Yeah, because it's literally like 100 pounds of rye flour, and I'm like, the hell did they mix this?
Yeah.
Like in that well?
I know. So like I've got to figure out it's not a simple math problem how to get this down.
No,
so.
it is a lot of food.
So we're gonna have to. So I'm still working on that. Then we went to that restaurant.
Yeah, we couldn't find everybody, and what happened is
right.
everybody was hungry, and they had gone to a restaurant across the road from the museum called Smakbyn, and it included a restaurant, a candy factory, a bakery, and a pottery workshop. There was a lot of shit.
And you're forgetting my favorite part.
Huh.
There's something there that didn't make any sense whatsoever.
What?
At that restaurant. Don't you remember?
No.
Ernie had to do it.
I can't remember.
So Ernie, we had to pack, a couple days to get over to the island, because we're only staying on the island a couple days. We didn't have to haul our own stuff, just whatever you could fit on the bikes. And so we packed, and Ernie forgot underwear.
Oh, yeah.
And for some reason, this restaurant also sold like their brand of like underwear. And you could buy like the boxer
well, because they sold like, yeah, that's right.
Remember,
and
but it was his own brand.
And socks, yeah.
But the underwear was like his own brand.
Yeah.
Like and I can't remember the story, but for some reason he was pissed that he needed to make underwear for a living, but in the restaurant.
Like, I
like,
have no idea.
That was my favorite part. Like you could go to the restaurant and buy the chef's own boxers. Like, what are we doing here?
I forgot about that.
No,
that
was my favorite.
I remember there was like the jars of spices that I was like, oh, I really want to take one of those. But I'm like,
no.
No.
It was actually a really cool little place.
Yeah.
And you sat down for lunch, and you had like, they basically had two choices of what food was, but then you got this kind of like a little buffet bar situation where it had side dishes, and that was really good. I don't even remember what the meal was, but I remember all the side dishes. So that was cool. And coffee. They drink a lot of coffee over there.
Which doesn't,
amazing.
It was say it doesn't break my heart.
Nope.
I love coffee.
Yep.
Yeah, so I want to say we stayed at that restaurant for a good 2 hours. Everybody just kind of bullshitting, and we just went through 2 forts and a castle, and
and no one eats. Nobody eats like a Excelsior-Henderson group. I mean, we can't pass up. That's part of the fun. Yeah, you can't pass up a restaurant.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
especially if it sells beer.
Yeah, I mean, I could have definitely bought some things, but being on the motorcycles and already being kind of limited in our luggage, we didn't pick up anything from there.
Well, just a little recipe. Oh, you mean from the restaurant? Yeah.
Yeah, because they made, like you said, they made their own candy too.
Yeah.
There.
Another thing I'm a big fan in Sweden is they love black licorice. I love black licorice. So everywhere we went, there's black licorice ice cream, black licorice, whatever I wanted. So also a big fan of that. So much black licorice.
Yes.
I don't know if you've ever eaten enough black licorice where you get a tummy ache and maybe a little bit of the shits. That amount of black licorice.
Your dad too.
Yep. Yeah, we ate a lot. And that, we're not even back at the hotel yet. And we
we will be back for part 3 of this day.
Round 3.
Because we still have one more place to stop, and I might get tedious on the next one, but I enjoyed it.
We love tedium.
We do. We're old people, apparently. I mean, I love the castles and stuff, but the next one, to me, is awesome.
Really cool. So stay tuned. The next one's going to be fun.